I don't expect anyone to believe me. Hell, I wouldn't believe me either if I heard this from someone else. But what I experienced last year still haunts me every single night. It all started with a game file. I've always been a collector of old Sonic games, ROMs, hacked versions, weird mods. You name it, I've played it. I even ran a small YouTube channel where I tested cursed or creepy Sonic games sent to me by fans. Usually they were just glitchy junk, corrupted sprites, inverted colors, broken music, nothing to lose sleep over. But then one day I got an email titled, "Try this, it's not a mod." The email had no body text, no greeting, nothing. Just an attached .zip file named Sonic Game Real Zip in a single line in the subject line, "Play it alone. Volume up. Don't record." I thought it was some prank, maybe one of my subscribers trying to spook me. Still, curiosity won. I downloaded it and extracted the file. Inside was a single executable. Sonic Exe, yeah. I laughed. I'd heard that name before, the famous creepypasta. But this one was different. The icon wasn't the usual Sonic face, it was just a black circle. No title, no color, no blue hedgehog, just pure black like an empty void. I should have stopped there, but I didn't. When I launched the game, my screen flickered once. The usual Sega logo appeared, except the red Sega text was smeared like blood dripping down. There was no sound, just a low, distorted hum, almost like something breathing through static. Then the title screen appeared. Sonic the Hedgehog only. Sonic's eyes were gone. Just two black holes with tiny red pinpricks glowing faintly in the middle. The background sky wasn't blue. It was a deep crimson, almost pulsing like it was alive. Below the logo, instead of "Press Start," it said, "I see you." I thought, oh, great. Another edgy mod. Still, I pressed enter. The character select screen was empty except for Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman, but no Sonic. I picked Tails. The game started in what looked like Green Hill Zone, except it wasn't green. Everything was dead. The grass was brown, the flowers wilted black. The sky pulsed between dark red and black. And that music. It was a slow, reversed version of the original theme, layered with faint whispers. I swear I could hear words hidden in there. Something like, "Run, run, run." I moved Tails forward, expecting some jump scare or chase sequence. But for the first few minutes, nothing happened. Then I noticed the animals were gone. Normally, in Green Hill, you'd see birds, fish, rabbits. But here, just silence. I walked for about a minute before the screen froze. Tails stopped, looking straight ahead. The camera panned slightly forward, revealing Sonic standing there, but he wasn't moving. He just stared, eyes completely black except for those two tiny red dots. The game didn't give me control anymore. Tails just stood there, trembling slightly. The air seemed to distort around Sonic like heat waves. Then text appeared at the bottom of the screen. "Do you want to play with me?" I tried to quit the game, Alt plus F4, Ctrl plus Alt plus L. Nothing worked. Then I heard something, not from the speakers, from my headphones. A whisper. It said my name, my full name. That's when my stomach dropped. I don't remember giving my name to anyone through that channel. The whisper came again, clearer this time, right into my left ear. "Why are you afraid, my name?" I ripped off my headphones. The game was still running. Sonic was closer now, taking slow, jerky steps toward Tails. His grin widened, unnaturally wide, tearing the pixels around his mouth. Then the screen went black. For a few seconds, nothing. Just the sound of heavy breathing. Not mine. When the game came back, Tails was in a new area, what looked like Hilltop Zone, but it was on fire. The background was filled with pixelated flames. Bodies of the small animals were scattered across the ground, their eyes missing. There was a low rumbling noise that got louder the further I moved. And then, as I jumped over a pit, a screeching static burst blasted through my headphones. The game froze again, and a close-up sprite of Sonic appeared on the screen. Black eyes, red pupils bleeding down his face. Then new text appeared. You can't run. The computer fans roared. My screen brightness flickered like lightning. Then my webcam light turned on by itself. I hadn't touched it. The game minimized to my desktop for a split second, enough for me to see that my webcam app had launched in the background, and the preview window showed me sitting there, but someone was standing behind me. A shadow. Tall, narrow, featureless. I spun around so fast I almost fell off my chair. Nothing was there. But when I turned back, Sonic was standing behind Tails on screen again, closer than before. At this point, I tried shutting off my PC, pressed the power button. Nothing. It just kept running. Then Sonic started moving on his own. The game took control. Tails turned and ran automatically, breathing heavily. I could hear it. Sonic followed, his speed increasing with each frame until he blurred into static. The music became an ear-splitting mess of reversed screams and low bass tones. My heart was pounding. I knew it was just a game, but something about the atmosphere felt wrong, like it was watching me. Then the chase stopped. Tails tripped. The camera zoomed in. Sonic appeared in front of him again, smiling. Another text box. Found you. The screen distorted violently, then cut to black. For a few seconds, I thought it had finally crashed. Then a new screen appeared. It was a real photo. Not pixel art. Not drawn. A blurred, low-quality image of what looked like my room. Same desk, same monitor, same curtain. Only one difference. In the photo, I was sitting at my desk, and something with glowing red eyes was standing in the corner. I yanked the power cord from the wall. Everything went black. I sat there panting in the dark, my heart hammering like it was going to explode. I didn't touch my PC again that night. When I finally worked up the courage to plug it back in the next morning, it powered up normally. Nothing strange, no game, no files. Everything was gone. The zip folder wasn't even in my downloads anymore. I tried searching for Sonic Game Real Zip in File Explorer. Nothing. It was as if it never existed. But then, I noticed something. Every time I opened my browser, my homepage, which used to be YouTube, now opened to a blank white page with just 2 words in the center: Welcome back. No matter how many times I changed the settings, it came back. And every few hours, I'd hear faint static coming from my headphones even when they weren't plugged in. A few days later, I got another email. Same address. No subject line this time. Inside was one sentence. I liked playing with you. Attached was a screenshot. It showed Sonic standing in the same fiery zone, holding something. I zoomed in. It was Tails' sprite, but the eyes were blacked out. And in the background, in pixel form, was a distorted image of my own face. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, strange things have been happening. When I sleep, I hear faint 16-bit laughter from my computer desk. Sometimes my monitor turns on by itself and shows static even when the PC is off. Once I swear I saw something move behind my reflection in the dark screen. It looked blue. I tried getting rid of the computer, took it to a recycling center, got a new one, brand new. But on the first boot, the desktop background was already set to that same red sky from the game. And in the bottom right corner, where the clock usually is, there was a faint line of text flickering for a split second before vanishing. You can't run. Now I'm writing this from a borrowed laptop. I don't know how long I have before it finds this one too. I've tried everything. Antivirus, data wipes, even a fresh install of Windows. Nothing helps. Last night, while trying to sleep, I heard that same distorted voice whisper from my headset again, even though it was unplugged. Let's play again. I threw it across the room, but this morning when I opened the laptop, the wallpaper had changed. It was Sonic's face. The same black eyes. The same red pupils. Only this time, there was something new. At the bottom of the image, written in the same creepy font as before. One more round, my name. And the cursor, my mouse cursor, moved by itself to click on a folder labeled Game. Inside was the same file, sonic.exe, and beneath it, a new one, Player, XI. Haven't opened it. I don't plan to. But sometimes, when the screen goes dark, I can see his face reflected faintly, grinning, waiting. And every night the static gets louder. If you ever get a file called Sonic Game Real Zip, don't open it. Don't even download it. Because once you do, you're already in the game. I used to think horror stories about haunted live streams were fake. I laughed at the ones where people said something watched them back. Now I don't laugh anymore. Because I saw it happen. And I can prove it, though I don't want to look at the footage again. I'm a small Twitch streamer. I mostly play retro games, old Sonic, Mario, Silent Hill. Nothing serious, just chill sessions with my regulars. Back in February, I decided to host a retro horror night, where I'd play obscure, creepy games recommended by chat. It was supposed to be fun, nostalgic. Then one user, Rings4Souls, commented, "Play Sonic Dream Emulator. But get the hidden file first." I'd played Dream Emulator before, but I'd never heard of a hidden file. So I asked what they meant. The user replied, "It's the original version. I can send it." They dropped a Google Drive link in chat, but when I clicked it, it didn't go to Google Drive. It was some private page with a black background and a blinking blue ring in the center. When I hovered over it, my cursor turned into a spinning Sonic ring. And a message appeared. "Do you dream of him?" The only clickable thing was a small download icon. The file name? Sonic Dream Real DSO. I downloaded it live, joking that it was probably malware. My chat spammed laughing emotes. Then I mounted the ISO and launched the game. Everything started normal, the usual weird Dream Emulator vibe, except the background music was off. It had that same reversed, distorted sound I recognized from the old Sonic XE creepypasta. But the strangest part? The chat started reacting before things even happened. When I entered the first dream world, half my viewers typed, "He's behind you. Don't move. Don't look at the ring." I thought it was some joke, until I turned my in-game camera around and saw Sonic standing far off in the distance in the fog. He wasn't part of that level. He wasn't supposed to be there. He didn't move. He just stood still facing me, the blue texture almost blending with the fog. I zoomed in, and my stream lagged. Frames dropped. The bitrate tanked. Chat messages froze, then started duplicating, the same few messages repeating over and over. "He sees you. Run. Run, run." Then the screen flashed white. When it came back, I wasn't in the same level anymore. The environment had changed. It looked like a broken version of Green Hill Zone, but with colorless, warped textures and a flickering sky. The sound was nothing but static now. I tried to exit. Alt plus F4 didn't work. OBS, my streaming software, completely froze. But the chat kept going. People were typing, "Bro, your cam just turned black. What's behind you? Why is there another face?" I looked at my webcam preview, and there it was. In the small square where my face usually was, I could see something moving behind me. Something blue, hunched, flickering like bad lighting. I turned around. Nothing. When I looked back at the screen, my webcam feed had changed again. It was still me sitting there, but my eyes were pure black, like the eyes from the game. I killed the power strip. Stream instantly cut. I sat in silence, heart pounding, the faint hum of my PC cooling down filling the room. I thought that was it. Just a glitch, maybe some crazy coincidence, until my phone started buzzing, Twitter notifications. Someone had clipped the last 10 seconds of my stream. The title, "Streamer Gets Possessed Live." I clicked. In the clip, you can see me staring at the monitor, mouth slightly open. Then the video distorts and the camera stretches, and behind me appears a shape. A human shape, but too tall, too thin. Its head tilted unnaturally to one side, almost touching the ceiling. And in that final frame before the stream cut, Sonic's face flashes across the screen. After that night, weird things started happening. When I opened OBS again, my camera light turned on automatically, even when the app wasn't open. One night I was testing my mic when I heard faint breathing on the feed. I checked the waveform. Someone else was breathing. I thought maybe my mic was picking up noise, so I replayed it. But when I slowed it down, there was a whisper. "Why did you stop playing?" I deleted the ISO file. Ran every antivirus tool I could. But the next morning there was a new folder on my desktop. Sonic Dream Save. Inside were hundreds of tiny image files. When I opened one, it was a distorted screenshot of my stream, frames that had never been broadcast. In one of them I was standing up from my chair. In another I was gone, just an empty room, and in the background always, that thing with red eyes. My followers started DMing me links to other channels. Apparently that same night, other small streamers had been hit by a phantom viewer who left messages like, "Play the original dream file. He needs new players. Upload your dream." One streamer went offline mid-broadcast. Never came back. Her account is still up, but her last VOD is just 3 hours of looping static and faint crying. By now I was terrified to go live, but curiosity and guilt pushed me to check the clip again. This time, frame by frame, I noticed something in the reflection of my monitor. Just a few frames before the stream ended, you can see a pair of hands appear on my shoulders. They're long, skeletal, blue-tinged. Then right before the feed cuts, the hands start to drag me backward. Except in real life, I never moved. I never felt a thing. That's when I realized on whatever that was, it wasn't showing me. It was showing something else. 3 days later, I got another message. From the same username, Rings4Souls, but this time it wasn't in chat. It was in my email, no subject, no text. Just an attachment. Stream v2.x. The email was time-stamped 3:33 a.m., same time my webcam light flickered on by itself. I deleted it immediately. Or I tried to. But when I checked the recycle bin, it wasn't there. And when I opened OBS again, the media source list had a new entry, stream v2.exe, auto-imported. It was in the streaming software itself. When I clicked it, a window opened. It wasn't OBS anymore. It was black with faint static. Then, after a few seconds, a message appeared. Your stream never ended. A distorted version of my own face appeared on screen. The background was my room, but darker, like it was shot through a film of ash. And behind me stood that same tall blue figure, head tilted, eyes burning red. It moved closer to the camera until its face filled the frame. Then it whispered, "Go live again." The window closed on its own, and OBS, the real OBS, opened automatically, with the Go Live button flashing red. That was 2 months ago. I stopped streaming, unplugged everything, but my followers say my channel still goes live sometimes, even when I'm offline. They've sent screenshots. The title always reads "Live Dream Continues" in the feed. It shows me, sitting there in the same chair unmoving, staring at the screen. But the timestamp says 0 viewers. When they click to join, the video stutters and chat gets flooded with, "He sees you. Run." And after a few seconds, the stream vanishes. Like it never existed, I tried deleting my Twitch account. Didn't work. The site kept saying error removing channel. I even made a new one, fresh email, new setup. But the first time I tried to go live, the stream title autofilled, Sonic Dream Live 2. And in the chat, before I even hit start, one message appeared automatically. "Welcome back. I'm writing this now because I can still hear it." The faint static hum from the mic. The breathing through the headphones. And last night, while scrolling through my old clips, I saw something that made me sick. Every clip I've ever uploaded, even from years ago, now ends the same way. Right before the footage cuts, a new frame appears, Sonic's face. But not pixel art, real a photo of something wearing blue latex, eyes blacked out grinning, and in the bottom corner, a caption, "Streamer XE connected." Now my camera light turns on every night at exactly 3:33 a.m. I've unplugged everything, even removed the webcam. But somehow, the light still blinks once, like it's taking a picture. This morning when I woke up, there was a new file on my desktop, livefootage.mp4. It's dated tomorrow. I haven't opened it. But the thumbnail shows me sitting at my desk and behind me in a blur of blue. People always say the woods are peaceful. They've clearly never camped where I did. I was 23 that summer, a hobby field recordist chasing clean nature sounds for a podcast. I had a cheap mic, a tent, and a week off work. My plan was simple. Hike deep into redwater forest, capture birds at dawn, crickets at night, maybe some wind through the pines. Nothing supernatural. Nothing cursed, until the sound came. Day 1. The tone. The first 2 nights were fine. Cool air, stars, perfect silence except for owls. On the third, around 2 a.m., I woke to a faint electronic hum coming from the trees. Not wind, not an engine, more like a modem connecting. That slow-rising whine capped by 3 short beeps. I grabbed my recorder and stepped outside. The forest was pitch black except for a bluish glow pulsing between the trunks about 50 meters away. Every pulse matched the rhythm of the beeps. My rational brain said probably a ranger tower light. But Redwater has no towers. The hum dropped into a bass-heavy tone that made my chest vibrate. The mic picked it up clearly. Then the glow blinked off. Silence. Back in the tent, I replayed the audio. Right before the hum cuts, there's something underneath. A voice whispering what sounded like a single word. Run. I deleted it, figuring I was tired, hearing patterns. Day 2. The tape morning came. I found new prints near my camp. Small, round, pressed deep like someone barefoot had circled my tent. Not human-shaped, more like the pads of a giant animal, except each had a perfect ring burned into the dirt, as if hot metal had seared it. When I checked my recorder, the files were renamed. Instead of Forest Night 3.wav, they now read Blue 1.wav, Blue 2.wav, Blue 3.wav. I never named them that. The metadata said they'd been modified at 3:33 a.m. That's when I heard it again, faintly, behind the wind. The same electronic tone, so I followed it. The signal I hiked toward the sound for maybe 10 minutes before realizing it was moving. Each time I got closer, it shifted deeper into the woods like it was leading me somewhere. Then through the trees, I saw a CRT television sitting on a stump. No cables, no generator, just a glowing screen showing blue static. Every few seconds, an image flashed. The Sonic title screen, old school, pixelated. I laughed out loud. Someone had set up an art piece or prank, but when I stepped closer, text appeared across the static. Hello, my name. I swear to God, my full name. I stumbled back. My recorder dropped and kept rolling. You can hear me breathing, muttering, how? Before a burst of feedback drowns everything out. When the screen cleared again, Sonic's face filled it, except the eyes were just empty holes leaking static. The smile stretched wider and wider until the pixels cracked apart like glass. Then the TV turned off. And behind me, something whispered, keep recording. Night 3. The game cartridge. I sprinted back to camp, heart pounding. Everything looked the same except for one detail. On my sleeping bag sat an old Sega Genesis cartridge. Label faded, just the word Sonic scratched in red ink. I didn't own a Genesis. The logical move would have been to leave immediately. Instead, I packed it up to analyze later. Curiosity is poison. Back home, I borrowed a friend's console and filmed myself loading the cartridge. Proof, I thought, for YouTube. The clip's still on my hard drive. I wish it wasn't. The Sega logo appeared but glitched into dripping red text again, just like the Sonic XE myth. Except this wasn't the internet. This was a physical card in my hands. Title screen. Sonic the Hedgehog tagline. He wants out. I pressed start. The game loaded directly into Hillzone. Only the ground texture was covered in blackened rings. No music, only that same modem-like hum layered with faint breathing. I controlled Tails by default. Walked a few steps, then Sonic appeared ahead, motionless. The screen zoomed. His eyes bled. Text. Recording complete. And the console powered itself off. The footage when I checked my camera, the one filming the test. It had kept recording long after I'd stopped touching it. For 10 full minutes, the lens stared at the blank TV. Then, faintly, a reflection appeared, me standing there. Except I wasn't moving. Behind the reflection, in the darkness of the room, something shaped like Sonic leaned over my shoulder, head twitching side to side like broken stop motion. When it noticed the lens, it tilted its head upward as if seeing through the screen, and whispered, "You brought the signal back. Static. End. Night 4. The return to Redwater. I went back. Don't ask why. Obsession, guilt, maybe a compulsion. I told myself I'd destroy the TV if it was still there. It was. But now there were dozens of them. Old CRTs stacked in a circle around a dead pine. Each one flickered blue. Each showed the same frame. Sonic running in place but not moving forward. His body slowly tearing apart pixel by pixel. And under the static, that beep 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 modem rhythm syncing with my heartbeat. I stepped closer, and every screen changed at once. Now they showed live footage of me standing in the clearing. I backed up. The cameras followed. Then all the monitors went black except one. On it appeared a single line of white text, "Upload complete." The ground started vibrating. My recorder caught a low-frequency rumble like a subwoofer under the earth. The dead pine split open down the middle, releasing a wave of hot air smelling of ozone and rot. From inside the crack, something crawled out, thin, blue, limbs too long, eyes hollow and glowing. It wasn't Sonic. It was something that had worn him too long and forgotten how to be human. It crawled toward me on hands and feet, joints bending wrong. I ran. The drive home, I drove straight through the night, shaking, replaying the sounds on loop. The recorder wouldn't stop flashing the word "syncing." When I ejected the SD card, it was hot enough to burn my fingers. At a gas station 2 hours away, the clerk asked if I was okay. I said nothing, but on the store's small TV, the news was playing. Some local report about mysterious blue lights seen over Redwater Forest. The image behind the anchor froze for a moment. The blue light formed a shape, a round head, 2 pointed ears, and a grin. The screen cut to black. Aftermath, that was 5 months ago. Since then, every device I own occasionally emits that faint beeping tone at 3:33 a.m. 3 short chirps, then silence. If I check the recordings, the waveform always ends with the same whispered word. Sometimes it's run. Sometimes it's record. Last week, it changed. Now it says my name. The final tape, I tried deleting everything. Audio, footage, the whole drive. But new files keep generating. Blue signal 001 wave through blue signal 999 wave. When I open them, each contains a few seconds of silence, then a single distorted image frame extracted from one of my old videos. The frames form a sequence like it's building something. Yesterday, the sequence finished. The last file played an image of my house from the outside, window glowing blue. Then text appeared. Now live. My phone buzzed. A YouTube notification. Live. The blue signal in the woods. Feet my name. I don't stream. When I opened the link, it showed a live feed of my bedroom, webcam angle perfect, even though my webcam was in a drawer. And behind me, in the footage, the window pulsed faintly blue. I smashed the router, shut the breaker, even killed power to the whole block. The stream stayed up. Battery icon never dropped. In chat, messages poured in. We can hear the tone. He's almost here. Don't stop recording. Then a new user joined. Rings souls. Their message. Signal received. Uploading player 3. The feed froze on my face. Then a blue flash. Now I'm writing this from a library computer miles away. My phone still buzzes every night. The notification always the same. Blue signal live. Join now. Sometimes I hear the tone coming from strangers' earbuds on the bus. Faint and rhythmic like it's spreading file by file, device by device. If you ever hear it, 3 short beeps, low hum afterward. Don't follow it. Don't record it. Don't share the link because once you do, you're already streaming.